So before we practice this sequence, let's first understand why this duck feet walk issue happens. Now there are three main reasons.
You will keep the toes on the block and heels on the floor like this. So why are we doing this? We are working on the dorsiflexion of the ankle. We are activating the tibialis anterior muscle because you need to activate the internal rotation of your hip and knee to work on the duck feet. Again, if you have duck feet or if you're teaching someone who has duck feet, what will happen? As you sit down, your toes will go out like this. So Praveen, show. And then also the heel tends to lift up.
If you walk around like a duck and your feet are always pointing out, then we are going to practice a yoga asana sequence to fix this. Hello yoga teachers and practitioner, my name is Neeraj Deshwal. I'm a yoga teacher trainer from Body Mind Alliance. So before we practice this sequence, let's first understand why this duck feet walk issue happens. Now there are three main reasons. Reason number one, limited internal rotation of hip joint. Reason number two, limited dorsiflexion of ankle joint. Reason number three, lack of foot pronation. So we are going to work on these three movements when we practice this sequence. So let's go to our Yogshala and practice this sequence.
Welcome to our Yogshala. I'm here with Praveen and now let's begin with the sequence. So first asana that we are doing is Supta Padangusthasana variation A. So Praveen, bring the belt and lie down on the back. So for this asana you will lie down on your back. So the purpose of doing this asana is to work on the dorsiflexion of the ankle. So you will tie the belt around your foot. You will make a loop with the belt, hold the loop from one end, and then you will make sure that your knees are straight, your toes will point towards you, heel will move away from you. So this will activate the dorsiflexion of your ankle joint. You may separate the toes and the toes will come towards you. On the other leg, you will press the thighs, knees, calves firmly on the ground. Keep the other leg active as well. So don't keep your shoulder lifted too much like this. You bring it down, keep your chest open so that you are breathing properly in this posture. You will hold in this posture for 30 seconds to 60 seconds at least. So let's stay here for a while. So this will also give a good opening to your knee joint. You will pull the kneecap up and the front of the thighs, that is your quadricep, you will pull it up. Open the back of the knee and stretch your hamstring as much as possible. Okay, now let's move on to the next. Now let's move on to the left leg. Now you will tie the loop around the left foot and then raise the leg up. Hold the loop from the another end. Toes towards you, heel will move away from you. Bring your ankle in dorsiflexion. Pull the kneecap up and quadricep up. You may feel there is a muscle on your shin bone which is being activated. This is your tibialis anterior muscle. Your tibialis anterior will come into action here. Pull the kneecap up on the left leg, pull the quadricep up, open the back of the knee, press your right thigh, knee and calf firmly on the ground. Don't let your toes move to sideways. Make sure it is straight. Toes pointing towards you again, heel will move away from you. Shoulder will not lift up, keep your chest open. Slowly inhale and exhale and stay in this posture for 30 to 60 seconds. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a sequence mostly for beginners and people with little bit of experience in practicing yoga. So that's why we are using belt here. So Praveen, relax. If your body allows, you can do it without the belt. Now the next posture that we are going to do is Adho Mukha Svanasana, which is downward facing dog. For that you will stand on your knees. So you will hold here, Praveen, stand on your knees. Now make sure that your outer hip, outer knee and your outer heel is in one line. Then bring your hands in front of your knees, slide your hand in front, then lift your knees up and take position in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you will bring your heels down. Now pull the kneecap up and the quadricep up on the front side. Now stretch the back of the thigh. Forearm will be towards index, middle finger and thumb. Then upper arm stretch, your side trunk stretch. Your hips are taller than your spine. So for all those people who struggle to keep their heels on the floor, they may lift their heels up slightly. Although the motive here is to work on the dorsiflexion of your ankle, so we bring the heels down. So your motive should be to bring the heels round with continuous practice. You will hold for at least 30 seconds. Hold and then release. Keep your knees down and then you will stand up in Tadasana. For Tadasana, you may slightly separate your feet. Then make sure you're balancing equally on big toe mound, little toe mound, and you're pressing your heels firmly on the ground. So you have to make sure that you're balancing equally on inner and outer foot. Then pull the kneecap up and the quadricep, front of the thighs lift up, side trunk stretch. Make sure your shoulders are moving away from the ear. Make sure your chest is opening. Upper arm will stretch, forearm will stretch. Stretch your palm and separate each and every finger at equal distance. Chin will be parallel to the floor and crown of the head will be parallel to the ceiling. Now this asana is really important because this is the base for all standing postures. So you need to practice this asana a lot. Now from Tadasana, we are going to move into Uttanasana. Now to do Uttanasana, we are going to use chair and two blocks. So Praveen, bring the blocks and then keep the blocks in front. Now you will keep the toes on the block and heels on the floor like this. So why are we doing this? We are working on the dorsiflexion of the ankle. We are activating the tibialis anterior muscle. Now you will raise your arms up in Urdhva. You will stretch your side trunk, upper arm will roll out, dorsal spine will go into the chest. Inhale and exhale, bend forward from your lower back, basically where the arch in the lower back ends. First, you will keep the hand on the top rail of the chair. So every chair has a top rail or there is a structure. You can keep your hand on the top and then keep your hand on the sitting area. So this is the sitting area. So Praveen has kept his forearm. If that is not possible for you, then keep your hands on the sitting area like this. But you have to make sure that this is straight. There is no slouching of the back. So Praveen, forearms on the chair. Keep your forearm on the chair. So see, this is how your back should look like. Now, make sure you're stretching the back of the thigh and stretching your hamstring. Give your hamstring a good stretch. Your ankle are already in dorsiflexion. So you will feel some action here in the front side here. And this is your tibialis anterior muscle. So this will activate. So when you work on the tibialis anterior muscle, it will help you in fixing the duck feet walk. Now, Praveen, come back. So this is how you will come back as Praveen did. He first kept the hand on the top rail and safely come up. Now let's keep chair to the side and then do the next posture. So let's do our next asana, which is Utkatasana. Again, we are going to use block here and I'll explain why. So you will keep standing in Tadasana. You will press the block between the thighs. Now, when you will go in Utkatasana, you will press this block. The idea is to work on the internal rotation of the hip and also on the internal rotation of your knee joint, because you need to activate the internal rotation of your hip and knee to work on the duck feet. So let's do this asana. Raise your arms up in Urdhva Upper arm roll out, dorsal spine into the chest. Now you will bend your knee and the tailbone will move away from the knee. Keep stretching your side trunk and you will hold. And as you go down, you will press the block. You will press the block. Hold. Come up. So why are we using the block? Release. So what happens, people with duck feet, when they do any squat or Utkatasana, this is what will happen. Raise your arms up. So when they bend their knee, the knee tends to go out because there's a lack of internal rotation in the hip. So this will happen. And also you will press your little toe. The weight from the big toe will shift. Toes tends to move out in the duck feet way. So this is something we do not want, and we want to activate the internal rotation of the hips. So come up. Let's do one more time. Keep the block here. Now this time you will also press your big toe mound as you go down. So we are both working on the internal rotation of the hip and internal rotation of your knee and the pronation of the foot. You can slightly turn your feet in and then press your big toe. So basically the big toe mound. Come up. Release, hands down. Keep the block to the side. Now next we will practice Malasana. Again, if you have duck feet or if you're teaching someone who has duck feet, what will happen? As you sit down, your toes will go out like this. So Praveen, show. And then also the heel tends to lift up like this. So Praveen made it very easy to look. This is not an easy asana to practice for people who have duck feet. Come up. Now the asanas that we have done till now, it will activate the dorsiflexion of the ankle and the pronation of the foot. So this will somewhat help you in going into Malasana. So for Malasana, again, as you did in Utkatasana, you will bend your knee and you will go down completely and then join your palm. Your elbows will touch your inner knee and you will make sure that you are resisting your toes to go out. Do not let your toes go out. So it will slightly go out, but don't make it like this. So you have to resist this movement. So when you are teaching someone, tell them to resist this movement of your toes going out, and then with consistent practice, they will also learn to press their heels on the floor. So hold here, hold, and then come back. You will come back in Tadasana, and the next asana that we are doing is Virasana. So you will sit in Virasana. So for Virasana, you will stand on your knees, outer hip, outer knee will come in one line, and then you will roll your calves out. Roll your calves out like this. Yeah. And then you will sit. Make sure you're not sitting on your heels. So right now you can have gap between your knees, but not too much as of now. Here, this should be the gap. So you will hold here for few seconds and then we will move into Adhumukh Veer Asana. Again, beginners would find it difficult to keep their legs, inner thighs together. So you may separate your thighs slightly. Now we will go into Adhumukh Veer Asana. You will keep your hands in front of the knees and then slide your hand slowly. You will make sure your arms are going out and your upper arm is rolling. You will look in front as of now. Keep your palm stretched, fingers separated, then keep your forehead down. Your buttocks will touch the heel. Your buttocks will touch the heel. The gap between the knees should be such so that it is accommodating your trunk. So you have to separate the knees in a way that it is accommodating your trunk. You will hold here. Let's hold it for 30 seconds at least. Hold. Hold. And then come back. Slowly come back, slide your hand back. And then you will stand up in Tadasana. From here, we will go into Prasarit Paduttan Asana, spread foot stretch pose. For that, we will bring the palm in front of the chest. First, we will go in Utthita Hasta Pada Asana. Now, when you bring your palm in front of your chest, make sure that your fingers are not too close. Your palm is stretched, fingers separated. Your elbow is slightly above your shoulder so that you're stretching your side trunk. Then you will slightly bend your knee and then jump into Utthita Hasta Padasana. If you are not comfortable with the jumping, you can simply separate your feet. So Praveen, show how to just simply separate the feet. And then arms open up. Make sure that the dorsal spine is into the chest. Outer edges of the toes, outer edges of the heels are in one line. Then you will turn your palm towards the ceiling. Raise the arms up in Urdhva. You will bend forward for Prasarit Paduttan Asana. You will bend from the point where the arch in the lower back ends. Yeah. Keep your hands on the floor. Hold here. Make a cup shape position. Make sure pull the kneecap up, quadricep up. You will separate your buttocks away from each other. Rotate your calves in to out. Then keep your palm on the floor. And then slide your hand back. Then hold the back of your ankle and hold. You will hold for at least 30 to 60 seconds. If you are not flexible like Praveen, you can stay in the position where your hands are in the front. Hold. You may use a chair or the block to do this asana. Hold. And then come back. First bring your hand in front. Keep both hands on the waist. And then come up. Now you will jump back to Tadasana. Now we will sit in Dandasana. So for Dandasana, you may use a blanket So Praveen, bring the blanket. And also bring a block. So as of now, we will use a block. You will sit on the block. Let's keep the blanket to the side. Let's sit on the block. So for Dandasana, you will make sure that your legs are together, toes will come towards you, heel will move away from you. Press your thighs, knees, calves firmly on the ground. Tip of the shoulder will move away from the ear, your chest will be open. You will make a cup shape position and keep the tip of the fingers on the ground. Feel the connection between your shoulder and your hands. And then feel the connection between your heels and your hip. Now, from here, we are going to do Triangamukh Ekpad Paschim Uttan Asana. For that, you will slightly move to the right side. Make sure your right buttock is slightly out and your left buttock is on the block. Then the right leg will go in Virasana. Make sure you're not sitting on the heels. You're not sitting on the heels. Left leg will stay in Dandasana. So toes will be towards you, heel will move away from you, thighs, knees, calves firmly pressed on the ground. Then you will raise your arms up in Urdhva Upper arm will roll out, dorsal spine into the chest. Inhale and exhale, bend forward and hold the foot from the side. In case you're not able to reach out to the toes, you can use a belt. So like this. Like this. Otherwise, hold the foot from the side, elbows out and bend forward. So you're bending from the point where the arch in the lower back ends. Toes will come towards you, heel will move away from you. So we are working on the dorsiflexion of the ankle. We are stretching the hamstring. Press your thighs, knees, calves on the ground and side trunk stretch. Hold. Hold. And then come back. Right leg in Dandasana. Now you will move to the left. The left buttock will be slightly off the brick. So right buttock is on the block, left buttock is slightly out. Then your left leg goes in Virasana. Left leg goes in Virasana. Press your sacrum in front. Right leg stays in Dandasana. Raise your arms up in Urdhva. Upper arm roll out, dorsal spine into the chest. Inhale and exhale. Bend forward. Hold the foot from the side, elbows out. And then completely bend forward and hold. Hold. Toes will come towards you, heel will move away from you. On the right leg, press your thighs, knees, calves firmly on the ground. Side trunk, stretch. Hold. Then come back. Hands by the side. Legs straight. Now keep the block to the side and go in Adho Mukh Svanasana. So we have already done Adho Mukh Svanasana. For Adho Mukh Svanasana, make sure you're first keeping your hands in front of your knees. Outer hip, outer knee and outer heel are in one line. And then lift your knees up. Press your heels on the ground. Pull the kneecap up, quadricep up. Forearm towards index, middle finger and thumb. Upper arm and side trunk stretch. Your hips should be taller than your spine. You will hold for 30 seconds hold, hold. All the time you will keep looking at your feet. Keep your knees down, go in Adho Mukh Virasana. You will make sure that your knees are separated in a way that it is accommodating your trunk. Bring your hands in front of your knees, slide your hand. Keep your forehead on the floor. Stay there for at least 30 seconds. Hold. And then come back. Now you will sit on the blanket in Dandasana. Now, make sure you're pressing your thighs, knees, calves firmly on the ground. Bring your feet together. Toes will come towards you and heel will move away from you. Move the shoulder away from the ear. Keep your chest open. Don't be too aggressive with the opening of the chest. Bring your shoulder blades down. Now, next we are going to practice Paschimottanasana. You will raise your arms up in Urdhvastasana. Upper arm will roll out, dorsal spine will go into the chest. You will start bending forward from the point where the arch in the lower back ends. Slowly bend forward. Now hold the foot from the side. Now if your body is not allowing you to come this much, then you will use a belt like this and stay in this position. Otherwise, hold the foot from the side, elbows out, elbows will move towards the ceiling, and then keep your chin down, forehead will fall on your shin bone, and hold in Paschim Uttan Asana. Hold in Paschim Uttan Asana. Bring your toes towards you, heel will move away from you. Press your big toe away from you and little toe towards you. So this will work on the pronation of the foot and the dorsiflexion of your ankle. Hold. Toes towards you. Now you will come back. Lift your head up, elbows straight. Raise your arms up. Come back to Urdhvastasana, hands by the side. Now keep the blanket to the side and then let's do our next posture, which is Setu Bandhasana. For that you will lie down on the back. Now first, you will draw your feet towards your hip. Bend your knees. The feet will be slightly outer than your hips. It will not be in line with the hip. So outer feet should be slightly out. Now next, with the upper body, you will move the tip of the shoulders towards the mat. This will open your chest. Shoulder will move away from the ear. Then the next step is lifting the buttock up. Here what you will do is, as you come up, make sure your knees are not going out. So lift your buttock up. Make sure your buttocks are squeezed as you come up, and rotate the thighs out to in from the front and press the big toe mount. Press your big toe as you come up. Bring the shoulder blades together and press your upper arm firmly on the ground. There is no need to hold your ankle. You can keep your hands by the side. Hold. Now slowly come back. Let's do it one more time. So remember, press the big toe mount. As you come up, the thighs will move out to in from the front, and do not let your knees go out. So people with duck feet, they will tend to take the feet out and thighs will rotate out. Okay, this is something we will resist. So come up, tip of the shoulders going back, shoulder blades together as you come up. Hold. Slowly come back. Now, one last time, come up. Hold for a few seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. And then come back. Now next asana is Sarvangasana. For that, we will take the mat towards the wall. Let's take the chair out. Now, you will make sure that your legs are placed on the wall like this. Your body is lying on the mat. So, you will lie down in a L-shaped position with your legs resting on the wall. Then, you will bend your knees and make sure your foot is on the wall like this. Now, with the upper body, the alignment would remain same, tip of the shoulders going back. Then, you will start lifting your buttocks up slowly. Slowly. And then, you will make sure that you are pressing your big toe mound here and not letting the thighs go out. So you will rotate your thighs out to in. Do not let your knee go out like this. Then you will support your buttock with your hands and lift the heels up. Lift the heels up. Thighs will move out to in like this. You may stay in this position. Also, I would recommend that you press the block here and slightly bring the foot closer. Again, this will help you understand the internal rotation of the hip, internal rotation of the hip, pronation of the foot. Press your forearm, your upper arm firmly and stay there. And you have to make sure that your back trunk is parallel to the wall. This is your back trunk. This should be parallel to the wall. Hold here. Hold. Slowly come back. Now bring the mat to the center. For Sarvangasana, if this is new to you or you feel overwhelming practicing this asana, you may skip this posture. You can practice Setu Bandhasana. Now we are going to rest for 3 minutes after completing this sequence. It is also an important part in the sequence. So for that, I'll bring the chair and you will keep your shin bone like this on the chair. It will rest on the chair. There will be a 90-degree angle between your thigh bone and your shin bone. So keep it relaxed on the chair, hands by the side. You may slightly open your arms, not this much, 60 degrees like this. Thumb will move towards the floor, little finger will move towards the ceiling. Keep your fingers relaxed, they will be slightly bent, slightly flexed like that. Tip of the shoulders will go back and then you will rest for at least 3 minutes. Now it's time for you to come back. So that was the sequence to fix duck feet walk. I hope you have practiced with us. So that's all from this lesson. I'll see you in the next one.